Welcome back to That Leslie Sound series.
We have some new pedals for you.
Today, That Leslie Sound is being brought to you by the MXR Poly Blue Octave pedal. But before we get into this pedal, I'd like to ask you to consider subscribing to the channel, clicking on the notification bell. Your interaction with us helps us engage great people, great companies, great people in the industry. Mm-hmm. And in this particular case, we got this in from Zzounds. We've been calling it our library card. We heard about this pedal, we got it in, and it does a lot. But one thing we did find...
Yeah, it does a really good Leslie.
Yes.
Like a really good Leslie. And it sounds ridiculous because why would you're thinking, no, it does a really good organ, but the organ's not a Leslie. The Leslie's the rotating speaker, and you'd be right.
And wrong.
And wrong. Right?
For this pedal, yeah.
It actually does a really good Leslie sound. So
which you heard in the intro on your bumper, if you will.
So the intro was the Strat into the Poly Blue Octave into the Tyler amp. We had the Mission EP1 expression pedal on it, and when we go to the D and slow it down, backed off the pedal. So we want to show you how to do this. Really, it really can't get a whole lot easier than this.
Even I could do it.
So I think the first thing we should do is just show you the range because you turn on... All right, so what do we have? Gotta jump into it. Clean tri-signal. We have that turned all the way up.
Yep.
You have 4 octaves, 1 down, 2 down, 1 up, 2 up. Mm-hmm. Totally turned off right now. If you click the mono button, it actually turns the modulation into a phaser. Mm-hmm. It's MXR. It's a great phaser, all right? But that's not what we're talking about today.
There's another video on that.
Right, so turn that off. If you hit the fuzz button, that turns a fuzz on. Great sounding fuzz, like the blue box.
Right.
But that's not what we're talking about today. So in the not the mono mode, but the poly octave mode, right? The modulation becomes something that sounds very much like a rotary speaker. And so I'm going to turn the mod knob all the way down, and that turns it off. And then as we bring it in, you'll just basically hear it speed up. And I'll let Pat play through, and we'll just run that dial for you real quick so you can hear what that sounds like.
Blew most of the dust off the Hampton Supra. There's still a little on the headstock, back into the Tyler as in the initial clip. And here you go. we kept looking at each other because that's the first time we did that. And I think the more you turned it, the more we're just like, wow, this sounds really good. And then you turn it more, and you're like, still sounds good. And you got to the top end, and you're like,
still sounds good.
Yeah, so that was a genuine reaction there. We have not, we've done lots of other things with the pedal. But that's the first time we ran the rate knob. It's great. It's fantastic.
Look, there's no knob for mic placement. There's no knob
lower rotor.
For upper rotor or lower rotor, highs or lows. There's no knob for ramp speed. There's none of that stuff that you find like on a dedicated Leslie pedal or rotary pedal. But man, that sounds really like, I mean, it's almost hats off to MXR because that, I feel like we've had other pedals that try to get that Leslie thing and just don't.
Mm-hmm. And that's their one function.
Right, and that's
this is like a side function, and they got it.
Yeah, it sounds great.
Anyway,
check this out. If I take our EP1, which is plugged into the expression out on
with the
MXR
cable,
with the rattlesnake cable, yes, Johnny Highland.
Thank you.
If you, it's twice in one night. If you roll it back to heel, whatever we do to the pedal will get locked in. So I have it back on heel. All I'm going to do is roll that speed back to something much slower. Then I'm going to go to toe. And I'm going to roll it up to something much faster. And let Pat play the old Leslie clip we always use and show you that we can control the speed. And so you don't have a ramp speed, but you have dog hair. You don't have a ramp speed, but you have the ability to kind of get in the middle. So wherever you set the lowest and the fastest, you can get in the middle of that. Boy, that's really cool.
Yeah, if you don't get into that and you like a slow Leslie, just set it for slow. Turn the pedal off and on. You like a faster, turn it, set it off and on. If you don't have room for an expression, you can still find, if you have a preference, if you're David Gilmour or stuff and you want the slower one.
Yeah.
Anyway, without that, you can still dial in one.
Right. With this, you can go between. Let's step it up a little bit because you can. And the expression pedal, really cool. A solid expression pedal too, at least. I'm going to go back up to toe. So we're on the fast setting. And just for fun, what if we, because in the beginning when I was like, we're using an octave pedal to sound like Leslie, and you were thinking, no, you're sounding like an organ, not a Leslie, because the Leslie spins. What if we take that high octave, and I'm just going to bring it in a little bit. And I'm going to bring the octave 2 in just a little bit, and I'm going to bring in just even a little less low octave. What's that sound like? So now, in the back, slow Leslie.
So it's like having an organist kind of play behind you, just come in and support those chords.
Yeah, and it's almost like the lower you get them, almost the more I like it because it sits like kind of under the dry signal, and you hear it with the Leslie, the rotary speaker, the simulated rotaries. But I feel like you hear it more on that than you hear it with maybe the first note. Obviously, we could pull them way up. We could add 2 octaves down. You can get like full blown church organ. I didn't even have the octave 2 down. The 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. We didn't even have the really low guy in there.
Church.
So you can get, yeah. That's a hint that we're skipping a whole lot of stuff in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't like. I mean, I think it's cool, and I'm sure there's people that use that. Yeah. The more we've played with this pedal, that slight hint of octaves, especially with the expression pedal. I mean, you can set up a fast one. You can set up fast on heel, fast on toe, the same speed, and just bring the octaves in and out. Or set up slow on both and just bring the octaves in and out. We could have low octaves on the heel and high octaves on the toe. Like, there's just an unreal amount of stuff that you can do with it. We're blown away. Our minds are blown. I don't know about you. My mind's blown tonight. Like, the options. You want a fun pedal to play with, to get inspired by. I think they knocked it out of the park.
Yeah. And we talked about... if you like using loopers, you can do all kinds of things. You could copy your own bass lines. You could put an organ patch in there. And you could have some kind of synth lead. It's great. It's fun. It's a very inspiring pedal. I think it's very practical. It can also be the ultimate in wankery if you want it to be. It's really fun. It's inspiring. Like, we go through a lot of pedals and a lot of things. And this particular one, we've both really enjoyed this. And even though we're not the most experimental guys, but even with what we experimented with, it was pretty cool. Like, if there's much more creative minds that can attack this pedal and just take it to its limits. But what we've scratched the surface, it's great.
You have a phase pedal in it, which it's MXR phase all the way. You have a phase pedal, rotary sound. We didn't even show you the phase, right? Rotary sound, fuzz, octaves, polyoctave. So you can play a chord.
Yep.
Mono.
If you like
phonic octaves.
If you like
glitchy. Think blue box, OC2, down octaves, also up octaves. So think like when you're playing fuzz, you get some of those high octave overtones. The whole world.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's your bonus on the Leslie sound. We can't stop talking about the rest of it.
Right. And I'm not sure which one, this or the video, the deep dive will come out first, but we have this video and then there's a deep dive on this pedal too. And then we have to find the excuse to keep it around for a little bit longer before.
And we didn't really talk about it. I mean, it's $199.99. I think it's about $200 every day, all day, and it's stunning because it's all those pedals in one. That can be used separately or together.
Yeah, you might lose a little bit on some of the tweakability things, but the sounds that they put in, like the phase sound they put in. All right, we gotta shut up.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for watching. We appreciate it. We appreciate if you take the time to subscribe, click the notification bell, hit the like button, leave comments. Like Pat said in the beginning, anytime you interact with the channel, that is what's helping us to develop these relationships, getting cool gear to share with you, not trying to give you fodder for your gas that you might have already, but and we certainly, I feel like we never say buy this pedal,
Right.
because
People think someone told us to tell you to buy this.
yeah,
pedal.
we just don't push stuff. But my gosh, if you like octaves and stuff, I'm gonna shut up now. With that,
I'm PJ on behalf of the Beard Money. No matter what you hear, you never have too much gear. Buy this pedal. What? Are we wankering it?
yeah, I mean, might as well.
Oh boy.